Alright, so I'm going to show how to open up and disassemble this Dell Inspiron 7490. So first thing we're going to do is use a PH1 or JAS1 screwdriver and remove all the screws from the bottom. Alright, you want to keep the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. The way I do that is I remove the screws. Looks like these screws will actually stay in the case. If they do, then you don't need to worry about trying to memorize where they go. So let's just remove these. Sometimes some of the screws stay in and some of them come out. So we'll see on this model. I haven't opened this model before, so we'll find out. All right, it looks like these bottom screws will come out. So just put them flat side down like this in the pattern you remove them. And that's how I remember. So we'll have this U shape of screws. Right, so I just put them on my desk like that in the pattern that I remove them. If this video helps you, make sure to like, subscribe, and share my channel with others so that they can also learn how to upgrade or repair their devices. All right, I'm going to be looking into replacing the screen on this model. The customer has the screen cracked. I think they said they had something on the keyboard and they closed it on top. But anyways, this model, so the way they design it, it should be somewhat easier to remove because the screws come out and then push this cover up, or I mean the back screws stay in. Right. If this video helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue doing these for a living. I actually do these computer repairs for a living. I run my business 24/7. All right. And yeah, but as I keep making these videos, I actually get less and less business. Anyways, so what you do when you get the screws out, you can see it has this gap here. I was just getting my fingernails in there. You can use pry tools, but just get in there and then you want to pry that up. Okay, so here you can see that side's kind of stuck, so we might have to use this. There we go. All right, and then we're gonna work our way around. So same thing, you have this gap here. Okay, you're just gonna work your way around. Again, you can use pry tools. I just use my fingernails because they're free and they work a lot better. All right, so there we go. Just work our way, continue going, pry that while we kind of pull this up. And there we go. It looks like most of it's up. One of the screws reattached itself, so if that happens, just twist it again, and there we go. So we got the bottom cover off. To be safe, what we're going to do is we're going to disconnect the battery first. The battery model number here, let me actually zoom in. Wow, the glare on here is bad. Oh, here you go. So the battery model is DXGH8. All right, so we're going to remove the battery. Normally I don't pull the whole battery out, but on this model it looks like there's not much room to work on it, so I'm going to have to remove the screws. So let's go ahead and remove the screw over here. Again, keep all the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. If you mix them up, you can damage your computer. All right, we'll remove the screw on this corner. So we got those two, and then there's two more down here. So 4 screws total it looks like for the battery. Okay. Once you get all the screws out, we're going to lift the battery out. You want to be careful just in case it gets caught on anything. So we're going to lift this slowly, okay? And then we're just moving it slightly down because we have to disconnect this connector. So the way you disconnect the connector here, all right, the easiest way I find is I use my fingernails here on the wings of the connector, and you kind of just wiggle it as you pull it, and there you go, pops out super easily. All right, there we go. We got the battery out. So we're going to set that aside. All right, and here underneath you can see the trackpad connector here. These connectors you can flip up, but anyways, after removing the battery, first thing you want to do, open up the computer and then press and hold the power button for about 15 seconds. This will drain any power from the internal components and will make it a lot safer to work on. There's still going to be a little power, but the chance of damaging your computer is greatly reduced once you do that. All right, looks like some plastic bits are kind of broken and falling off. We'll just toss that. All right, so you got some magnets in here. These are likely to hold the screen together and possibly to tell it that it's to go into sleep mode. You got the speakers. Oops, let's zoom out here. You got the speaker here. Cable runs along like this, and then both speakers actually connect to the board here. Same thing with the wing connector. You wiggle and pull it back. You got this smaller connector here connecting this board to the motherboard, and it looks like there's 2 connectors going to this. So there's a bigger cable. It looks like this bigger cable actually runs underneath the motherboard and plugs in under there. So these are all for the I/O board, which is the input output. All right, and you got the fan connector here. All these connectors you kind of just grab and wiggle. This one, it has a little latch where you flip this metal latch up here, just like that, and then you can pull this connector out, but I'm going to leave that in. I don't want to mess with it because the main thing I need to work on is the screen. All right, you got 2 USB ports and the headphone jack here on this daughter board. All right, or the I/O board, whatever you want to call it. And it looks like on some models they probably put an SD card slot here, but this one doesn't have that. All right. Fan looks like it's attached, might not be completely attached to the heatsink, but CPU is soldered to the motherboard. All right, you got an M.2 SSD here. Looks like you can put a full-length one, but they put one of these mini ones in here. Let me see here. So this is a PCIe NVMe SSD, so you can upgrade it with another M.2 PCIe NVMe. Just take the one screw out, then you can lift it up slightly and pull it back. There's no replaceable RAM as far as I can see. Most likely these are RAM modules, all right, and they're soldered to the board. You got the keyboard connector here, and you got this connector also going to the I/O board or daughter board. So I don't know why it's kind of crooked, so I'm going to try and fix that and put that latch back down. It looks like it's just stuck like that. So, I mean, it's working, so we don't have to mess with it. There we go. All right, straighten that out. And I think that's pretty much all there is to point out in here. You do also have the CMOS or BIOS RTC battery here connected there, and you got the keyboard backlight connector there. All right, so we pointed out all the connectors inside. Let's go ahead now and get to the screen. All right, so I'm not going to remove all these connectors again. Oh, you also have the LCD LVDS connector here. I forgot to mention that. That's for the screen. If you mess with that, make sure that you did press and hold the power button 15 seconds after removing the battery. And charge port, USB-C port is soldered to the board. Okay, so now let's go ahead and try and open up this screen here. I have to be careful because we got all the screws back there. Right, so usually what you do, there's this plastic frame out here. So we're just going to slowly peel it up. It feels like there's an adhesive underneath. So what we're doing is we're kind of just rotating it like that. All right, and here you can see it kind of already unclipped over here. Basically just go ahead and rotate the bezel out like that. All right, the adhesive sometimes can hold really strong, so you want to be careful. If your screen isn't broken, I don't recommend attempting this because sometimes the adhesive is enough to kind of damage the screen when you're just pulling this thing off. This screen's already broken, so no big deal. All right. So we're going to continue going around. We got most of that up, all right, as you can see. Okay, we're just going to continue going all the way around. We're going to rotate this. I have to be careful again because all the screws and stuff on my desk. Let me zoom out a little so I can get this in frame. All right, and we're going to go around these sides as well. Same thing, lifting up from the center. Okay, and trying to slowly pry this. Sometimes you might have to wobble this. It looks like these side pieces are holding in really strong. So I don't know what they're using to hold that, but it's really stuck. Let's go ahead and rotate this and try the other side. Okay, looks like this side is easier. Okay, it looks like it's easiest to kind of just lift this piece and then push the whole piece inwards as you're kind of lifting it up. Okay, yep. That works a lot easier. There we go. All right, we're gonna rotate this and we're gonna try the same thing on this side. So again, push the bezel inwards as we kind of lift it up. And yes, that works. So here you can see I'm just pushing, I'm just pushing my thumb along it and lifting it, and there we go. All right, so we got all of the side out. Now let's go ahead and get the bottom part of this bezel out. So let's lift that. All right, so this part, most likely there's some adhesive here as well, but we'll find out. Yeah, there's adhesive holding this as well, so this is gonna be somewhat of a pain. Let's go ahead and just pull this forward. I'm using my thumb to push in while I pull out with my fingernails. All right, so kind of like this. I don't know if you can see. Let me zoom in a bit here. Okay, so basically we're pulling the middle or the top part out, and there's also an adhesive here, so I'm trying to push that adhesive back down. Hopefully you can see. If the adhesive comes out, it's okay. Technically, the adhesive isn't needed because it will hold itself in with all the clips. So let's just peel out this adhesive. So here you can see, getting all this adhesive up. All right. So here's this adhesive. I'm going to stick it up on the screen itself just to keep it out of the way. And okay, so we're getting all of this. And there we go. And oops, let me zoom out. Oh, wrong way. All right, so we had to pull this, and then once we did, these clips released as well. Here we go, we got the bezel out. Okay, so we're gonna move that aside as well. All right, this screen looks to be held in with some screws as well as some stretch adhesive. So we're gonna have to use a PH0 or JS0 screwdriver, it looks like. I'm not 100% sure if we need to remove those metal things, but it looks like we do, so let's go ahead and remove those four. If you want, you can actually put this adhesive back flat with the screen. Okay, just to keep it all lined up. Again, that adhesive isn't really necessary. All right, let's go ahead and remove the small screws here. So I'm gonna rotate it this way so you can kind of see better. I'm gonna zoom in. Let's see if I can reach the screws this way. Okay, so we're gonna remove the screws here. Again, keep these screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. Mixing them up can damage the computer. All right, so we're gonna get the second one here. All right, I'm gonna get the third one here. All right, this one I can't really reach too well. Well, I can. I kind of have to push the cover out of the way a little bit because it's kind of hidden back there. Again, I'm not even sure if I have to remove these screws, but we're gonna do them just to be safe. All right, there we go. And then we got one last screw down here. Same thing. Let's go ahead and remove that. Okay, now for the tricky part, we're gonna have to stretch these adhesives back. So the easiest way or the best way, let's see, we can probably pull it through and then get it underneath here. I don't know if I'll be able to show this on camera, but we'll try. All right, I'm gonna get some tweezers here. All right, so we're gonna grab this. I'm using tweezers here. You can see we can pull this out. Let me try doing it this way first. So I'm gonna open the screen all the way. All right, and then what we're gonna do, we're gonna grab this black plastic tab here and we're gonna pull it. You wanna pull it straight down. So here you can see it's gonna come out that way. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull it out this way. Okay, and pull it through here. So, oops, I'm gonna knock all the screws around, so I need to be careful. So we're just pulling it straight through under this little gap here, and you wanna pull it straight back, okay? So this adhesive is just gonna stretch. It's hard to show this because I don't have room, but basically you're just gonna pull this adhesive straight back. You don't wanna move it anywhere to the side or anything like that. So I'm gonna just hold the laptop like that and just stretch this adhesive. Okay, and it stretches pretty far. So usually once you get a bunch of it out, you wanna go back, grab the new part that came out, and then continue pulling. And you want to be careful if you want to reuse this adhesive not to let it fold over on itself. If it folds over on itself, it's gonna be, you can't really separate it and you're not going to be able to reuse it. So we're going to keep doing this. Okay, grab that, let it unstretch, and then keep going, and there we go. Oops. Okay, good, I didn't knock my screws out. So there we go. Adhesive strip looks like this. As you can see, it's super stretchy and it comes out as you stretch it. So we're going to have to do the same thing on the other side. I'll have to be careful, I might knock the screws out. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with the other side. Grab the adhesive there. All right, and then we're going to pull it. All right, looks like it's easier to open it first. So we're going to get under there, grab that adhesive and pull it. Looks like the plastic has a loop that I kind of went under, and it helps grab it. But you kind of want to make sure to keep those two pieces pinched together. Sorry, again, I went off camera. But there we go. We're just going to pull it like this. Okay, once you stretch it, you want to grab the next and then let it go back and then continue the same thing. Sorry, I can't really hold this out of the way, but hopefully you get the idea. My hand's kind of in the way, but just keep stretching it like that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep my hand in the way because otherwise I'm gonna end up messing this thing up. So do that. All right. Then we're gonna grab the next bit and just continue. All right, just like that. Let it go back, continue, and grab it. And there we go. We got the second one. Strip out. Here you can see they put a nice little loop here that you can actually loop your tool into to help pull it out. So that's kind of nice. All right, we'll set that aside. Now that we got all those pieces of adhesive out, we should be able to lift the screen out. Let's zoom out. Okay, so let's see here. I hope we can just get the screen out now. So, okay, so we're gonna lift the bottom side up first. We might have to take the whole screen out, but we'll see. Okay, so we're lifting this slightly, and then let's see if I can slide it down. Is there more adhesive holding this or something? It feels like it's stuck up here in the middle, but I don't see an adhesive strip that I can remove from the middle, so that's kind of weird. Let's go ahead and look on the inside here. I don't see anything in here, so I'm pretty sure I'm not supposed to rip this thing out. So let's go ahead and actually remove the screen from the bezel, I guess. Okay, I was hoping I wouldn't have to do this. Give me a second, my customer's messaging me. All right, I'm back. Okay, the customer decided to go early instead of waiting to find out. We'll see depending whether it's worth it or not. Oops. Okay, so let's go ahead now and remove the screen from here. Okay, so you want to open up the thing. All right, so I'm gonna try and remove the bezel actually. Let me actually, if I do it this way, where are the antennas here? Okay, so the wireless antennas are actually in the palm rest here on the sides. So it looks like the only screen cable I need to remove is this one. Okay, so let's go ahead and disconnect the screen cable. All right, so let's go ahead and get the screw back here. All right, we are going to use the PH1 or JAS1 screwdriver. So it looks like there's 3 screws holding this. Let me zoom in. All right, so we're going to remove these 3 screws. One here. Just felt something fall on my foot. Second one here. Second. What is that? Another piece of plastic. All right, second screw. Sorry about that. Okay, and then we got a 3rd screw here. All right, once you get those 3 screws out, you can see we can lift this metal bracket off. All right, I'm gonna set those aside. Okay, now that we got that, we're going to have to lift the LCD LVDS connector off. This looks like a strange type of connector I haven't seen before, but I'm guessing we just pull it up. Just like this. Let's see. Yeah, this is a weird connector. I'm not too sure. It looks like a connector that we just pop up. Sorry, I'm trying to see. I don't think it pulls back. I don't know. It looks like it might pull back or also pull up. So I'm going to try with my fingernails here to pull it up. It doesn't seem to want to pop up. I might have to play it safe and not remove this connector just because I'm not sure how. Sorry guys, I'm trying to figure this thing out. Let me actually figure this out and I'll be back. All right, I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, I couldn't figure it out and I didn't want to pry it too hard, so we're going to try doing an alternative route. So let's go ahead and actually put this bracket back on here. I don't want to end up breaking the computer trying to figure out how to remove that connector. So let's go ahead and actually put these screws back in. I mean, the way this bracket is holding it, I would assume you have to yank it up, but I tried putting a little force on it and it didn't look like it was going anywhere. So I don't want to put too much force and end up completely destroying it, all right? So it's never good to completely destroy a customer's computer when they come in for a screen repair. So let's go ahead and try removing it from the other side. As you put back these screws, if you notice your screwdriver skip, you want to be careful. You don't want to apply too much force and strip out the screws. Some of these screws for some reason don't grip too well. It looks like it's already stripped or something on this one. All right, so I don't know if somebody worked on this before because it's only stripped in the tightening method. All right, so let's see here. What we're going to try then, let's go ahead and try removing the hinge screws on here. So we got 3 hinge screws here. Let's go ahead and try and remove those. I'm going to have to be very careful because I don't want to drop this screen on the ground. I mean on the table, well, whatever. All right, let's see, where can I put these screws? I'll put them here. All right, so there's 3 on each side. I'm probably going to add some thread locker on here just to make sure they hold tight. It has some blue thread locker already on it, but I'm going to add some new thread locker after I'm done just to make sure that it doesn't come loose later. Okay, so we got those 3 out. Let's go ahead and move to this side and we'll get these 3 out as well. You do want to make sure to hold on to the screen or the bottom half so that it doesn't just fall over depending on which way you're doing this. Okay. Alright. Alright, hopefully once we got these 3 we can just lift the bottom out and kind of move it out of the way. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the camera angles right on this, but we'll see what we can do. Alright, so let's see, we can lift this off slightly. Here we go. Somehow the cable's kind of really stuck. It doesn't want to move at all. Sorry, I'm trying to figure this out. Okay, so it looks like we can rotate this, but it's caught on there. Oh, I see, because of the plastic. Alright, so maybe we can do that. Okay, so we can kind of let this down a bit. Let me zoom out. So it's almost like 180 degrees, like flat like this, okay? But as you can see, the plastic bezel here is caught. So we'll see if I can show it this way. So now that we got it resting like that, let's see if we can lift this up and out. If we can't, I'm not too sure what else we're gonna do. So it looks like they taped that screen cable stuff on there. We are going to have to remove this little connector down there. Let's go ahead and zoom in. So this is, I don't know what that is for, the camera or the microphone or something. I'm gonna try and use my fingernails and we're just gonna kind of wiggle that connector back and forth to get it out. And there we go. So that cable is disconnected now. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can lift this up all the way. Okay, here you can see it's getting, oops, I need to zoom out again. So here you can see it's getting caught on the cable down here. So I'm not too sure how we're gonna do this. Let's see, can we slide this at all? It's somehow caught on the camera up there. I don't know what's holding it. Is this a connector here, or what is this blue thing? So I'm not too sure how the camera is being held into this. But the center doesn't want to come out. As you can see, I slid this down enough that I could pop this out, but I can't get the rest of it. So I'm not too sure what is holding this. Let's try with this. If I can slide this far enough that I can pop these out. Kind of. Only one corner, but that's not good enough. So I don't know how it's being held up here. There has to be the cable or something up there is holding on to it. Is it possible to pry out the camera sensor stuff up there? It looks like this is being held up here as well. So it's not something I can just rip out. And I have to be careful here because of all these things. Alright, so maybe I should put the hinge screws back in. I don't know if that helped at all. Yeah, the hinge screws, removing the hinge screws didn't help at all. I'm getting a call, so give me a second. I'll be back. I'll see you guys in a bit. Sorry about that, I'm back. So anyways, let's go ahead and reattach this. I don't think having these hinges out are gonna help. It actually makes it a little bit harder to work with because then I'm worried about damaging the cable. So we're going to reattach this. I'm gonna just put one screw for now, so that way I can have it holding itself in place. Then we're gonna get the blue thread locker stuff here, and we're gonna put that on the other screws while we put them back. All right, so let's get the other screws. Okay, we're gonna put a little blue thread locker on there and get that screw back in. All right, now I got that one in. Oops, I put too much thread locker. Let's go ahead and clean that excess off. You don't want too much on there. Okay. All right, let's get the other screw back out and add a little thread locker to that. There's already some there, but it won't really hold too well, so we're just adding a tiny bit back on. All right. Let's go ahead and get all these screws back in. I'm gonna have to look closer at this one. This model looks to be pretty complicated for getting the screen out. All right, there we go. Let's go ahead and get the last 3 screws for the hinges back in. Sorry, as far as like swapping out the screen assembly and stuff, this video is not too useful. But yeah, I don't see any hidden. I was thinking there might be a hidden stretch adhesive tab, but I don't know. I don't see one. I don't know if I'm missing something or what, but there's definitely some adhesive or something holding it in place. All right, so now we got all these screws back in. Let me go ahead and put the thread locker away. All right, I don't know how we're gonna get this out. Definitely feels like there's adhesive holding the screen down. Sorry, I'm not getting all of this in view. So something is definitely holding this down. When I move this, the camera sensors and stuff don't move at all, just the screen. Looks like the connector is there. Let's see. Most likely the camera connects to the board with this, but I don't see a way to get this out unless I can slide it down. So, and I don't know if I yank this forward here. I mean, these metal tabs are definitely holding it in place, but also as I try and lift this, something's preventing me from like just sliding this down all the way. I mean, I can lift this stuff up pretty high, but something underneath is holding it. Let's see if I can see inside here. I can see all the cables in there. There's a lot of cables going on in there. I don't know if you guys can see that. Maybe not. Oh, there you go. So yeah, okay, I'm gonna have to look into this and figure it out. I'm gonna look inside. I'll pause the video because it's hard to film this, and then once I figure out what's going on, I'll try and show you guys what's going on. All right, see you guys in a bit. All right, so I can't really figure out what is holding it in, so I'm probably just gonna use a bit more force to kind of twist and rotate this and see if I can get it out. Let's see if I can somehow get this screen part out here. Okay, there we go. Got that piece out. All right, let's see if we can get this one out. Looks like if you kind of pull and flex it, it's gonna get those metal tabs out. There we go. So now I got all these metal tabs, but again, something is holding it just in the middle here. Now that I got most of it out, maybe I should check with a on the inside again. Here you can see the screen is flexing quite a bit. Yeah, I'm going to look inside again and I will get back to you guys. We'll see if I can even remove this. All right, see you guys in a bit again. All right, I think I figured it out. It looks like there's a plastic pull tab here, so I wasn't supposed to pull these out yet, I think, but let's go ahead and see if we can, if we're right. So there's this black plastic piece here, but this one is really difficult to pull. So here you can see there's this black plastic tab here. Let's see if I can lift the screen and get it out of the way. Nope. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and lift this up with the tweezers and then try with these pliers, because these needle nose pliers have little teeth to help grip better. So I'm going to grab that and let's see if we can pull this one out. Okay, so here we go. So we got this plastic piece out, and my hope is that this, because I saw it's kind of going up like that, is that it's going and there's a little adhesive there. So let's see if I pull this and it's coming out. All right, I think I was right. So this is coming out. I'm not sure which way I'm supposed to pull this, but here you can see it has another one of those stretch adhesive tabs. Oh man, okay. So I'm gonna slowly try and stretch this to keep it intact. I don't know where this adhesive is going, so hopefully I'll be able to figure it out to put it back the same way, but I'm not sure. All right. It looks like it's overlapping on itself, so I don't know if I'm gonna even be able to reuse this. But here we go. Oh man, yeah, it overlapped on itself a bunch. Here you see, okay. I'll try and reuse what I can on this. You can see there's markings on it, and that's kind of a sign of where the adhesive was holding. We'll see what we can do. So once we got all that adhesive out, here you can see we can slide this all the way down, and then now we can flip this forward, and here you can see the camera cable is here. So okay, so it looks like the adhesive ran across here and then it goes down over to that spot that we were looking at. So I'm gonna have to order a replacement screen. It looks like this cable, to remove it, it's trapped underneath this little piece here, so you'd basically have to pry this whole thing and slide it down, but I can't figure out how to do that, so we're just gonna leave that connected. Yep, this cable's all one piece, so you have to be very careful not to damage that. Screen connector's right here, so let's go ahead and actually peel this up. Let's close the screen some. I'm gonna see if I can show this on camera, how to disconnect this cable. All right, so here we go. Let's close this more and we'll zoom in. Here you can see the model number of the screen. Let's see here. So the screen model number here is LQ. Oops, let's zoom in a bunch more. Come on, focus. There we go. So you can see the model LQ140 M1JX41. So I think that's the screen model number. They have all these other numbers and stuff, so I'm not sure what all these other numbers are for. But you can take a look. If you need them, you can use them. Main one I think is this screen model numbers, the LQ something. Okay, and then you just want to match and make sure you get all these little feet tab thingies back in. Okay, so let's see here. Let's zoom in and let's try and remove the connector here. So we got this tape. We're going to just peel this adhesive up. We're going to slowly peel it away, just like that. All right, once we got that, we're going to flip this tab up. All right, there's a metal latch here, it looks like. I think it's the whole flap. Yeah, it's the whole flap. So we're going to get underneath. I'm going to use my fingernail and pop that up. All right, just like that. Once we got that, let's see, we should be able to pull this connector out. And I'm pulling with this whole flap here, okay? So I'm just wiggling this and pulling it back, and it looks like it's coming out. Oh, there's adhesive holding it here. So we do need to peel up this adhesive stuff first. So let's go ahead and peel this to separate it. And let's go ahead and peel this to separate it as well. Right, so we already got this small connector out earlier. Let's go ahead and peel that, and there we go. Connector comes out just like that. Again, it comes out with this whole flap here. All right, and then we're gonna have to peel this tape up. And basically to put it back together, we just get the replacement screen and do everything in reversed. I'm gonna have to wait for the replacement screen to do that. But essentially, let's zoom out. let's go ahead and start the process. So here's the screen, okay? I'm gonna try and put back those adhesive strips just to show you what it looks like. Okay, this is gonna be a little bit weird because I don't have much workspace on my desk. Let's see here. Let's set that aside. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna get the old strips and we're going to get this lined up. Let me flip this out of my way. Okay, so as you can see, it has those lines there. That's because it attaches to this, okay? So we're gonna stick that on there just like that. Okay, and it just goes like this. So it's pretty tough to get it to stay in place. There we go. Just line that all back down. All right, and then this little tab, of course, goes around the screw mount. All right, so there we go. Again, it's a little tough to get it to stay in place. You might have to use some kind of thin tool like a needle or something to push it down, because you can see it just wants to come back up easily by itself. So we're gonna try and carefully do this. Okay, just carefully lay it back down. All right, I'm gonna use this tool and see if I can push it into place. Okay, that works, kind of. So this thin tool allows me to put pressure on it to get the adhesive to stick. So that's what we want. We're gonna do that with the other side as well. Here you can see it stays right here. Okay, and we're gonna do that with the other side. Same thing, get the adhesive. Okay. Drop that into place. Again, I'm going to use the tool and just kind of push it into place. Make sure to get this folded back over and flip back down there. Okay, just like that. This one, as you can see, it got stretched out quite a bit, so it doesn't really sit right. If you want, you can kind of pull it back up a little bit and then try and get it to sit a little bit better, but the adhesive here is a little bit longer than it used to be. But there we go. All right, stick that down. There we go. Okay, so we got that all stuck down. We got some cat hair stuck there. Okay, so this adhesive one is the one that's kind of confusing. So it was going like this. Okay. Oops, I stuck it to itself. So this piece, it kind of like tucked down here. And this plastic strip went like that and over like this. Okay. So as you can see, it sits like this. And this adhesive just goes up there. I'm gonna see how much of the adhesive I can unstick to itself, but most likely I'm gonna have to just cut off the adhesive. So here you can see, right, it folded over on itself because it doesn't pull out in a straight line. All right, and it just wrapped all over itself like a ball of chewing gum. So yeah, I don't think there's any way I can undo this whole thing that's all stuck together. I'll try and pull apart what I can, but most likely I won't be able to get it apart. Yeah, no, I don't think I can get this apart. Nope. Okay, so because I can't get that apart, I'm just going to cut it to the furthest part I can where it's still flat. Okay, so we're just going to cut it right here. There we go. Toss the excess and... Alright, so what we're going to do now, we're going to stick this back on here. Like the way they had it, just like this. All right, so now you have the adhesive back on there. Okay, and then we're just gonna tuck this back under like how it was. So basically this was just folded there, and then this one just goes down in that little area. They actually have the plastic is somewhat marked in that area. So there we go. And that's pretty much it. When we put the screen back, we're gonna have to put it at an angle to make sure it doesn't get caught and stuck on all this adhesive before we drop it down. But other than that, that's it. All right, so we're gonna have to wait for the replacement screen. For now, I'm just gonna leave this closed, and then we'll continue this later when I get the replacement screen. All right, I'll see you guys later. All right, this will be end of part 1. Part 2 coming in a few days. Bye.